Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my show. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And today's guest, we have Alexa. So, Alexa is a spiritual medium, channeler, and alien contactee, as well as an actress and producer, but we'll get onto that a bit later because we're here about the spiritual stuff.
Yes,
Okay,
we are.
so what's a trance medium?
Wow. Okay. So you have different levels of mediumship. Now we all find we naturally have a psychic ability, but with trance medium, it's more on it's like the most deepest level of mediumship where you go into a state of trance and activate a much more higher consciousness level. So when we really go into mediumship, we're accessing really between the fourth dimension. But when you're going into trance, you're accessing on more of a higher vibrational level on a fifth dimension. So basically, if you imagine it like it's like a string or a line, like a computer network, really, and it's like reconnecting from you to one being, and they flow through everything for you, their thoughts, their images, their voice tones, visions, okay, specifically around that person, showing you everything. So you're feeling every single sensation, and you go into a very, very heavy trance state. Now, it can, if you don't really know what you're doing, so it can be very complicated. You have to make sure you can protect yourself because some people can have with trance abilities, the being can take over, which I've had experience that myself. So you have to make sure you're
You can
protected.
get possessed then, sort of.
Well, yeah,
What
some people,
happens?
it depends really. You need to know what you're doing is because, when you're on open channel, you will find, okay, that everything and anything will be attracted to you. Like here on this planet as well, it's like there's good and bad here on the earth, right? But up there, in the fourth dimension, you've got good and bad. So, they see you like pop on like a light and they're like, hey, how's it going? You're like, all right, how's it going? But then you probably get a negative energy that will try and come and interfere. But this is why you have to protect yourself, okay? And make sure you say, no, you do not have permission to come within my space. But when you're accessing on more of a higher vibrational frequency, that's where you find beings of much more of a higher consciousness, love and light level. So this is where you get more. So you've got higher dimensional beings, okay, the range came from the fourth to probably about the 11th to 12th dimension. On the fourth dimension, and just below that as well, you'll find that with astral traveling, when you get sleep paralysis, you see those shadow beings that we see. That's because you get trapped in the middle and they're there to just jump and get fear at you. So you're going to get more the bad and good roughly between the fourth dimension. But as you go higher, you've got fifth dimension like Pleiadians, Arcturians, Lyrans, Syrians, and the list is endless because they're considered what you call as intergalactics or interdimensionals. And extraterrestrial means, okay, that they are extraterrestrial on this planet, as this planet was also known as Terra. So the higher the vibration, the more higher consciousness because it's closer to our source creator.
Whoo!
Yeah, it's
It's a
intense stuff,
lot
I
of
know, yeah.
information very quickly. Maybe just slow down just a touch for me to be able to keep up with you, honey bunny.
Oh yes,
That's
no,
so
seriously.
fast. And
You'll
I
find,
think
you're trying to
fast.
speak to people, it goes in like a computer. But as I said, like with me with my channeling, I tend to be quite speedy because it comes in like bam, 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 bam. It's like an upload or what we call download or upgrade. It's like downloading to a computer. So really, I say, with being a medium, I'm more like the middleman. I am the foreign language exchanger. So basically, I translate the
Translator.
language. Yeah. So
Mm.
I'm the middleman. I translate the language from your guides. They communicate through me, and then it goes through to you. So I'm basically the middle guy. Basically, that's all I am. So as I always say to my clients, don't give me credit. Give your guys credit. Give your higher dimensional beings credit. That's it. I'm just a
So
messenger.
are you
That's it.
speaking to their higher self? Are you speaking to
Yes,
their
higher
guides
self.
or their higher selves? How does it normally
Higher
work?
self guides, we've got different levels of guides. In case you have higher dimensional guides, we have our guides, okay, that are assigned to us, okay, from when we are born. We have the Akashic record guides. You have your spiritual guide. You have your physical guide. You have your emotional guide. You have your mental guide. You've got ascended masters. You have guides that come in for that certain period of your life that stick with you. Also, you find with star seeds, okay, they originate from higher dimensions. There will be assigned guides, the higher dimensional guides, such as Pleiadians, Lyrans, okay, whatever beings that wish to work with you within that period and what energy they can assist you with being pushing forward to higher consciousness on the areas of expertise. They really are the most fascinating beings to work with and so full of unconditional love and light. These beings are so more advanced spiritually than us, but you'd be surprised, you know, we all come from the higher consciousness energy, and what they want is for us all to be a collective consciousness and to awaken to who we really are, because this planet, the way that it is, it's not meant to be this way. Things went, well, excuse my French, downhill, what we say in England, tits up, you know, during the times of Atlantis when the vibration went down. And what people don't realize is that we are so multidimensional, but our vibration, our frequency has become so lower that we're more working on an ego level. And this is where the great awakening comes into, which has been predicted in many prophecies, from the Mayans to Nostradamus through Egypt, and going back in many, many years and many, many times, which talks about this coming age of Aquarius, where we are being given this opportunity to raise our vibration and ascend into the next vibrational level, because Earth is now shifting from a third dimensional frequency planet to a fourth dimensional frequency planet to a fifth dimensional frequency, which is what we call the ascension process. So what we are actually working towards is raising that vibration to the fifth dimensional consciousness. But hey, do you know what? Awakening is hard. A lot of people seem to think like it's all cookies and marshmallows and unicorns. It's not. To begin with, it is. And then the universe is like, okay, I'm going to show you things that you don't want to see. All right, I can handle that. Yeah, I'm going to really show you things that you don't want to see. Okay, where do I sign? And that's it. It's a lifelong contract. It's like, hey, do you want to take the blue pill or the red pill? You're like, go for it. Let's take the blue pill. And then you fall down the rabbit hole into Wonderland and realize there's no getting back up. So, you know, but once you're on this journey, it's
The blue pill
transforming.
sends you to sleep, doesn't it? Isn't it the red pill that wakes you up?
It's a red pill. One of the
Yeah,
two.
you've gone back to sleep.
I'm not going to be the red pill. Sorry. Oh, I should know this being such a
I'm
oh
pretty
no.
sure because they
Maybe
talk
I'm
about
ginger
red
now. I'm
pilling
ginger.
people,
I'll get
don't
away
they?
with it. I'm ginger. It's fine. I'll get away with it. So,
Wow.
but yes, it's like it's completely awakening. And what we don't realize is, you know, we take on all these, you know, controlling lessons because we've been controlled and manipulated to have certain belief forms that are not in alignment with our higher self, our higher consciousness. These are belief forms, okay, that restrict us and believe of what we can be, that we're not worth it, or we're not good enough, or from what we've experienced on the outside. So we come with these belief methods that this is the reason that way, and therefore the universe will always give you what you want. People blame things and say, why is it that God does it? No, God just gives you what you want. At the end of the day, the universe is
Reflects
a
on you.
conscious energy. It's like a hologram, you know, and it changes towards your patterns, your thoughts, your vibrations. So and the hologram will show you that physical reality. So when we see that something isn't working with us, we say, okay, what is it? Do I have a belief mechanism? What belief do I have that's associated with what's being presented to me? And this is where we have to dig deep and go into that inner healing and say, oh, okay, I see what that's telling me now. Okay, no, I need to shift that, because this is the lesson it's teaching me to love myself fully. Because what you think about yourself is a vibrational frequency you put out. And as we know, a vibration, as it puts out, it comes back forward to us in return. So literally, it's ridding ourselves of the ego, ridding ourselves of what we call the trash and the energies of on non-alignment, things that do not serve our highest good, and really cutting away the old and really coming into that higher consciousness, our true selves, our higher selves, which is that conscious creator love energy.
So you mentioned Atlantis. What happened during Atlantis when our frequency dropped? How
Right,
did that happen?
right. There's lots of
Can of
different things.
worms, possibly, but anyway.
Right, okay, all right. So we're going to go back. It's going back into a bit of history. So sorry, guys, it's a little bit too intense for you. Okay, so you know, back then, so there was the Lyran Wars. So the Lyran Wars, okay, there's a constellation of Lyra called the Sima Triangle, which you've got Lyra and Vega, and I can't remember the
And
other
they are
one.
the lion-faced
They
ETs,
are the
aren't they?
Lyran. Okay, so all humanity, the human gene originated from Lyra originally. So majority of higher dimensional beings actually look humanoid. Okay, so they actually share the same genetics with us. Okay, so you have the what we call the reptilians, the Alpha Draconians. They don't know where they came from, but they came over from a different galaxy, constellation, different universe. Okay, and they came over and they wanted to trade technology with the Lyrans. And the Lyrans said, well, you know, we don't know you, we don't know where you're from, so we need to know where you're from and what exactly is your intention before we decide to trade such technology. And you see, with the Alpha Draconians, reptilians, okay, they're very much like a warrior race, okay? They're very much very aggressive. You can get some light ones, but unfortunately, they're version of humanity is. They think that we've taken over. They can be quite aggressive, but there are some, okay, that can be beneficial, and there are some light ones, but they are rare to come across. They took that as a sign of war, and basically they destroyed the Lyran constellation. So what happened was the remaining beings that were left went to the different planetary systems, such as the Pleiades, Alpha Centauri, Tau Zeta, Pegasus, Arcturus, Andromeda, Atlantis, Earth, Gaia, Atlantis being on Gaia, Earth, okay, and they changed, okay, due to the ozone layer, okay, so their skin colors changed, but very humanoid looking. So Pleiadians could look like me and you, okay, you wouldn't know a difference, just their eyes would be larger and they'll probably be a lot more taller. But yes, so Druids went over to Atlantis. Now you see with Atlantis, what happened was, okay, they got a little bit too cocky with their technology, and things went a bit wrong there, and that's why the vibration went low. So things went wrong. Sorry, excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold at the moment, I do apologize. And you had Lemuria as well, so they got a bit cocky with their technology, okay, and then there was a war that happened between Lemuria and Atlantis, and this is what happened. The vibrational frequency went down, and therefore, you know, then the tidal, well, the flood happened, and the remaining survivors went off to places such as Egypt and around the world of the seven wonders of the world, because the pyramid originates from Atlantis, which also originates from Orion as well, and that was created through that way, and also over what we know as Avalon within the British Isles as well.
Whew. Right. Okay. So you are an alien contactee.
I
When
am
did that
indeed.
begin? How is all of that? That sounds mad. Tell me all about
Oh,
it.
it is mad. As I said, like,
Hopefully they're positive aliens.
oh
I've had some
yeah,
ET
yeah. I mean, like,
experiences weren't that great.
no, I mean, like, I've had a few experiences, you know, with the negative one now and then, but very positive experiences. So I remember it. So it was, my mum told me this later in life, before she passed away. Before I was born, my father was visited by these beings, and at the time, my father had been made redundant for work, and Scientology had just come out. So my mother thought that he was, you know, having a bit of a nervous breakdown. But these beings came to him in his room, told him that he was from there, his soul, and they told him that of my arrival, and he'd
From where,
written it all
sorry?
down. Yeah. Can you
From
hear me?
where?
They didn't, I'm not sure where they're from. They might have
Oh,
been from
okay.
the Brian group or the Pleiadian group.
Hmm.
Um, I believe so, because I'm still trying to find that piece of paper, because my father used to write everything down. But they visited him in his room, told him that he was from there, from their system, from that soul group, and mentioned of my arrival, that I was going to be born. And then about a couple of years later, I was born. I do have memories as well as beings coming into my room as a little girl. So I remember being white light and beings coming into my room, then everything going black. And my parents used to find me in different places of the house with no clothes on. They'd find me outside in the garden. They find me, but they put it down to sleepwalking. But you find this is very common, okay, with a lot of contactees. You go to bed, you have the experience, and then you wake up in a different part of the house, or you wake up in the garden.
Why didn't you have clothes on?
I don't know. I don't know. A lot of time you find my clothes folded up. So, but
And
that is,
folded up, that's quite unusual as well, that they were folded up
it's
because
quite unusual. But yeah, being found in different parts as well, also coming up with marks. And yeah, I used to remember them coming into my room, and I was always very psychic as a child. I used to see fairies in the garden and see spirits, and also, you know, another experience that I had as well. Okay, I remember being born, and it's a very, very
ooh,
important, yeah, very important experience. So I remember reincarnating. So how it was there was lots of like purple, it's like a purple cloud around me, purple energy, and there was this man. Okay, he was just a tall white light being, probably say he was elderly, but he was all in white. And then there was a screen that appeared in front of me, and it was my parents at their Christmas party they used to have every year at the old house. And he said to me, "This is the family you've chosen. Are you sure you want to go to this family?" And I said, "Yes, this is the family that I want to go to." He said, "We've given you this memory, so when the time comes, you'll always know where you're from." And then I was born.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really interesting. Did you
yeah,
always remember that memory, or
yeah,
did it come
yes,
back to you later?
absolutely. Absolutely. Always remember that.
Wow,
Always remember that. So yes, they
that's
used to come into my room, and then obviously I went through the schooling program, because that's the deprogramming. But I was always very open and very communicative, you know, seeing spirits and everything. But when you go through the schooling program, we tend to tends to dull down. So you find with like children, they're much more receptive because they're more tuned in. But when you go through the educational programs, so then they start to shut it out. Then the
They're
next
more
time,
connected to source as well. And I think the more connected to source you are, the more connected to source you are. And you can
oh,
also,
absolutely.
they're in a hypnagogic state as well up until about 7 years old, that you know that you can be, they can have a broom and they can be riding it and sort of think it's a horsey, or they can actually visualize it and it really is a horse to them. They're somewhere in this like hypnagogic state, which is in between reality and hypnotized. Like their fantasy and reality get very, very merged, and that switches off around 7. So I think that it's probably got something to do with that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And they're very light-hearted and laughing and love, and they're just much more receptive. As I said, like with
Mm.
the education system, they end up cutting that away from them and try to limit them, you know, as I said, like to put you to sleep, the programming method, this is it. And this is the whole point. We have to deprogram from the programming method. I then started to, I mean, I always knew and I always felt that I knew that I wasn't from here. I never, see, right, I'll be very honest with you, a lot of starseeds, and to those who are starseeds out there, you'll always feel different to everyone else. You won't feel like you fit in with the rest of humanity. You won't understand why people do the things that they do, why the world is so harsh, why do people want to fight? We can't stand any forms of violence, and we find it very confusing. We feel like outcasts. We just feel like we're like a star trying to fit into a square-shaped peg. And also with a lot of children, because they're starseeds, they've got empathy, empathic, they've got intuitive abilities, so they're picking up on everyone else's energy. So they're picking up on people's negative energy and thoughts and beliefs, and they're mistaking it for them, but actually they're picking up on their energy. So they're very, very, very psychic. They'll be very drawn to the stars, and they always have that knowing that they're here for a mission. There's something here that they've been sent to do, and always feel that connection, knowing that wherever they're from, they're not from here. As a child, I used to try and find doorways into different dimensions, okay, because I used to love the Wizard of Oz. I thought, oh,
Mm.
stop this, I can't deal with this planet. I'm going back home. I want to go back to Oz. So I used to try and find doorways to different dimensions to go back home in my garden and everything, because I knew where I was from. It wasn't from here. And I used to see fairies in the garden and very drawn to that energy. They came back on later in my life as I went through an awakening, which was just after my father passed away. So it was in 2012. And there was the Pleiadians that came to me and they took me astrally, and they're blonde. They were very, very, very loving, very just lovely energy. And they told me, look at the blue star prophecy, the blue star Hopi prophecy. I had never come across this prophecy before.
Oh, sorry, your audio's just gone off, my love. There you
Sorry
go.
about
Sorry,
that.
you
There
said
was a
Blue Star Prophecy and then you went silent. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, there's a phone call that came through. I do apologize about
No
that.
worries.
My apologies. So, you know, I had no information about this. Okay, so when I came astral to my body, I looked up the Blue Star Hopi prophecy, which talks about the higher dimensional beings, the star beings that have incarnated at this time to assist with the higher consciousness and the awakening of humanity. Now, as star seeds came about, so what happened is, okay, so basically the Arcturians, so looking at a future timeline, there was tyranny in the universe, which doesn't normally happen. And they located it back to planet Earth, which was the interference, okay, with the reptilian energies. Now, the thing is, though, what they did, because with the law of free will, they cannot actually interfere physically because it's actually part of our lesson and our involvement. Because to be honest with you, we've allowed this to happen. And if we don't awaken, we'll just do the same thing to another planet. So this is like an awakening and a learning experience for everyone. So they can't actually physically interfere, only if it came to it. So the way was,
And if
okay,
we ask for assistance, they can help us, but they
they can
can't
help us
just.
if it came to that point. I mean, the technology that they have, they could clean the whole entire planet up in a week. This is it. But unfortunately, okay, we'll get into that
We
story,
need
okay,
to
when it
get
comes.
empowered and we need to step into our
Exactly.
power and do
I'll
the
tell you,
work
you know,
for
with the
ourselves.
technology and everything, we'll go into that bit. Okay,
Okay.
so what they did was, okay, right, we need some volunteers, okay? So basically they said, who would like to volunteer to come to Earth, okay, and help with the raising of the frequency? Because we're of a higher dimensional frequency, we can be that harness of that light to bring in that light and spread to others. And therefore, okay, so we said, okay, I'll volunteer to come to planet Earth. And like, okay, but you're going to have to go from fifth dimension to third dimension. Hey, no worries, it's going to be easy. And you're like, they're like, okay, sure. You're like, okay, cool. And then you get there and you're like, oh, but you're not going to have any memory before you get there. What? Wait, no. Oh no. And then we get to planet Earth, like, oh no, this is horrendous. I didn't think it'd be that bad. But it's basically where you're like, oh, what? Before you so speeds, I don't want to go back. No. But you know, we agreed to it, you know, to help be the highest of a frequency. Now, with these star seeds, okay, they have to go into bodies, human bodies, which will have a DNA, which would be related to a interdimensional extraterrestrial race, because the frequency, it'd be too much for the human body to handle, and we would just go, it'd be too much energy. So certain families are chosen because their DNA, they'll have certain more Pleiadian DNA or Syrian DNA, so that starseed soul can be able to handle that. You also have walk-ins as well, and many other different types of soul types, such as otherkin, incarnated angels, and the list is endless. But that's just another experience. I said the other experience I had was with the Arcturians, and they took me
Oh,
astrally
I've
on the
lost you.
ship. Yeah, the Arcturians, oh, they're lovely. They're so adorable. Honestly, they're so cute. First time I met them, I was like, oh my God, so cute.
What do
So
they look like?
so they can range from about 4 foot to about 5 foot. They can have light to dark blue skin. I say their heads are slightly larger, okay, but they're very humanoid looking. Their eyes are quite larger, but they've got human features from light blue to dark blue skin, larger eyes, very small noses, and they wear blue to purple robes. And with all beings as well, they talk telepathically. They don't talk like me
Have
and
you
you.
met these beings in the physical, or is it in the
It's
energetic
in
realms?
it's in the astral realm. They can be in the physical realm with Pleiadians, not. They can be in the physical realm. This is also in the astral realm.
Okay. Have you been on do you have memories of going on to physical ships in the physical
Yes, I do
body?
have memories. They came on later in life. I have flashbacks and memories of being in a room, white, and screens being played in front of me. You know, I come out with you'll find with also contactees as well when we wake up. If you've been there, you'll find missing time, which happens quite a lot. So if you have like time jumps and missing time, okay, that's a big indication, okay, that you are an abductee. And you see, they can give you, they can choose for you to have memories, or choose for you to not have memories, or for the memories to come back later on in time.
But I suppose we're not necessarily being abducted because it's actually
No,
our
I think
family
point
normally
abduction is
pulling
a
us
lot of
back in.
exactly. I think that's probably more of a derogatory negative term. Abducted means being taken against your free will. So normally, okay, with contactees, we have a contract with them before we
Mm.
come down. Okay, so we have an agreement. Everyone has a soul contract. So we have that agreement, that contract with them, okay, with that permission, okay, to be in communication with us, because for us to assist them, or what way they can assist us of our lives. Also, you know, a lot of people can have implants, okay, there can be implants, they can track you, or, you know, to make sure that your energy is okay, or for certain downloads as well. So yeah, it depends on your agreement with them, okay. With abductees, people that are abducted, I'd probably say that is people that are taken against their free will, and
Mm.
that can be happening, okay, particularly with a lot of people have experiences with greys, because there's benevolent greys as well as there's malevolent greys as well.
Right. Okay.
Anyway,
So
going into the Arcturians, because we bypassed that. So yeah,
go
they're very
on.
lovely beings, and they love to have a laugh. They do, and they all talk telepathically. And I was there on the ship with them, and they showed me, the screen came up, and they showed me New York, but it was completely desolate. It was like something out of a dystopian film. It was just, the buildings were crashed. It was really hot. You could see like the dust and everything, and the fumes coming from the sun. It just looked. It was like something out of one of those destruction movies. And I said, what happened? They said, this is what will happen if humanity doesn't wake up. I was like, oh God, but this is horrible. How
Nuclear
come?
war sort of thing.
Yeah, it was future timeline, future timeline. It was horrible. I said it was like something out of, I said, like the 2012 film. I'd probably
Mm.
say really
Mm.
desolate, really desolate. And I was just like, wow, this is awful. They said, and I started crying. They said to me, the love that you hold is the pain that you carry. And then they started laughing. I said, well, why are you laughing? They said, we don't need to watch TV. We watch humans instead. I
I've
said,
heard
oh,
that before, that it's the Truman
yeah. I
Show.
said, you know what? Fair enough. I can't argue with that one, to be
Well,
honest with
it's
you.
actual reality TV
Oh, it
unscripted.
is. It's like reality planet Earth, isn't it? They're probably looking at us thinking, what are these humans doing now?
I
They're very,
mean,
very
but this happens in our relationships as well. I think we all do this when our friends tell us stories, and you just go, why? Why would you do that? Why
why
would
would
you?
you do that? Why?
Uh,
Like, ah.
mm.
You know, it started to like, oh, you silly humans.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, so experiences I have with fairies. Also, no, fairy is the human term. They're also known as the Seelie. The Seelie is the correct term for
A
them. Uh,
Seelie.
Seelie. You have the Seelie and the unseelie, but Seelie is the
How
correct
do you
term.
spell them?
Seelie, Seelie.
Eelie. Seelie.
Yes, and they're also connected to the very well known beings, okay, called the Truth of the Danan, which were a
Not very
race that
well known
came.
to me.
Yeah, you know, the race that came from to Ireland, okay, also known as the fairy gods and goddesses, and it also connects back to the Celtic gods and goddesses, and also the Greek, you know, like oh, what's oh, I've got to say, because I know this one. Bear with me. I should know this because I talk about her all the time. The goddess of the hunt, begins with A. You know this.
Athena.
Artemis.
Artemis. Okay.
Artemis and the triple goddess as well.
Hmm.
So a lot of these gods and
Diana.
goddesses that you know of, these are actually higher dimensional beings. These are
Hmm.
real beings, okay, that come from different higher dimensions, especially such as the Anunnaki, which connect to the Mesopotamian Sumerian gods,
Hmm.
which were also part of the creators of humanity.
The Greek and Roman gods are
The Greek
part
and
of
Roman
the.
gods, but also the Anunnaki, which is very much connected to the Sumerian gods. Okay, so you've
Yeah,
got
but
Inanna.
weren't the Lyrans the one who the Lyrans created humanity, and the Anunnakis were later on that tampered with
Yeah, we
humanity,
believe
weren't
that they
they?
were later on, but the human gene actually comes from Lyra.
Mm.
The
I
human
think that they're supposed to be the ones who did their genetic modification to create us in the
Yes,
first place,
yes,
aren't
they
they?
have a genetic modification because Eden was actually a genetic lab, basically. It was another story, but it goes very, very deep. And obviously, you know, I said this is an open channel for all because everyone's got different views, okay, regarding Christianity and different beliefs.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to, you know, change people's beliefs. Of course, this needs to be open and loving for everyone, you know, as also, you know, Jesus, as we know as Yeshua, Emmanuel, he was very much a real person. So, you know, so I don't want to upset people because it's a very, very deep topic that not a lot of people may not be ready for, but I'd be happy to discuss it. But I want this to be open for everyone because everyone's got different beliefs, and what belief is what works for you and what brings you closer to your higher self
So,
and
I
what
mean, if people want, people please do comment below if you want Alexa to expand on this in another show potentially. So, if there's anything which you're finding particularly interesting, which you want more information on, do let me know in the comments, and we'll get her back on to tell us more about it.
Yeah,
Let's do it
absolutely.
that way.
It's a big topic, guys, and of course I want you guys to be ready for it, you know, because
I think
it
the audience is pretty ready for it. I mean, they're used to me working with Honey, and Honey's gives a similar sort of history to what you do, and she's always talking about very out there things. And so I think a lot of the audience are quite used to our conversations, which are not the norm, but they are real. So that's the way it is. And I think it resonates. I encourage everybody to use discernment. You know, some of this may resonate for you and some of it may not. And take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And that advice I give to everyone in every element of their life. Just don't worry about if it's not for you. That's okay. And if it is, fantastic. And if it's not, fantastic. You do you, boo.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Listen to your heart space. Your heart space will always tell you
Mm.
if it resonates with you. The most important thing is we're here to do is humanity. Look, there's going to be so many things. Okay, look, we're in the new world order, guys. Okay, we're in a big theatre show. Stuff's going down. It's going down. It's happening now. Okay, we are in a great time of humanity to awaken to our higher consciousness. We are so multi-dimensional. We do not realize where we're from and where we come from. We are more amazing and more capable than you realize. And the
Hmm.
most important thing is it's love, light, and source of humanity. Listen to your heart. That is what will tell you. That is where your soul is. Don't listen to the loud voice of the shouting. People will try to distract you with fear. Don't worry about that. The most important thing is that you connect to the light. You connect to the light and you follow your heart. Your heart space will always tell you what you need to do. We know all the answers are within us. We just have to listen.
So, can you tell us about the positive timeline and where we are going to be going with this great awakening? Let's not worry about the bad
No,
potential.
we're not
We're
worried
going to
about the bad
ignore
bit.
that
We
stuff.
don't hear
We
all
don't
that
want to
stuff.
bring that forward. So, we're just going
No,
to
we
talk
don't.
about the positive one. So, tell us about the positive timeline and where we're going to be going.
Well, we are shifting into a very, I said now we just come out of the Pisces moon phase, okay, which is very much about ridding things, okay, and going on to the new journey and opening into new paths, okay. So we're now going for this acceleration, this growth, okay, of ascension level, okay. So we're all getting ready for this great event that's happening. So people are going to find, okay, that things may be a little bit tougher. We may be pressed and pushed a bit. This is actually the universe pushing you to rid yourself of anything that's not solve your higher self, your highest version. This is it. So this is like a shedding and a ridding, okay. So we're wiping the slate clean and we're moving more into a positive energy. You're actually finding now, which is really amazing considering, okay, like a couple of years ago, probably say about 20% of humanity were awake. More people are waking up. They're waking up. They're asking questions, and that's what we're meant to do. So we're starting to wake up more as a humanity and as a collective consciousness. We're seeing signs with the planet. Things are changing. Shifts frequency. More people are speaking their truth and opening up. People are collecting together, okay, getting into groups and talking about these things, spreading the word, okay. And this is what it's about, joining up, okay, and speaking the truth, joining up together as humanity. So it's a great time now. This is a great shift. Some people won't wake up and some people will wake up, but I'm a great believer, okay, but look, if we can get 80% to wake up, that's great. But we're moving forward, even though it may seem a scary time, we're actually moving forward into a very positive timeline, okay, where change is happening and shift is happening. So light warriors, get your swords ready because the battle is commenced and we shall fight for freedom all the way.
And what's it going to look like in the next 5 years, 10 years?
What's it going to look like? I say there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of change in technology, that's for sure. As I said, with things are gonna, I'll be honest with you, things will get worse before they get better. As I said, this is what happens. So it's a breakdown of the old system. This is it.
Hmm.
Okay. So in order for change, there has to be chaos in order to be for change. It's like the tower. Okay. So we build up this tower structure. Okay. And like the tower card, the tower has to crumble completely for new seed to be planted, for growth to happen. So things are going to be a little bit more chaotic before we start to see an actual physical change, because the old mechanisms, the old systems need to be brought down. Basically,
Right.
they can't be in place anymore. So it has to be taken down in order for the new to begin. So you have to get rid of the old in order for the new to get in. But I say within a 5-year period, okay, there's going to be significant amount of change. I'm going to be this year, we're going to see a lot going on. There's going to be a lot going on, a lot going on, okay, to distract you. There's going to be a lot of chaos, going to be a lot of drama. There will be. But there's some positive aspects. But do know, okay, as we're in this time, we are now in this great time where you've got dark and light. Okay, you're going to see a lot of chaos before you're going to see the good. But again, this is not a bad thing, because in order for there to be change, there has to be chaos in order for growth to happen. So we have to get rid of these old construct mechanisms, this old belief systems, this old programming. So we're taking down the old system to put in the new way. The people of Earth, the daughters and sons of Gaia, children of the rainbow, children of light. And this is it. We are light warriors. So yes, you are going to see a bit of chaos before there's going to be some good change, but this needs to happen.
But what's it going to look like on the other side? That's what I'm trying to get at. What will the world be like in 5 years' time when everything is settled down, do you think?
I think it may take a little bit longer than 5 years' time, okay,
10
but
years then.
well, I probably wouldn't say 10 years. I'd probably give it, I say my time isn't all great. I'd probably say within a 5 to 7 year period.
Okay.
I think people, okay, there's going to be a lot of shocks, okay, but people are going to start more being on a balanced level, okay, and starts. So things, I said, it's going to be chaotic, but I think people are going to start realizing where we're from. We're going to be looking at contact as well. Okay, there's going to be a lot of revelations. People are going to ask a lot of questions, and more people are going to be drawn to helping the planet, okay, and more pushing forward onto the growth of planet. As I say, it's going to be a much more calmer energy, I want to say as well. But it really depends 50-50 on how humanity respond to this. If it all goes according to plan and goes in a good way, okay, we can see a significant amount of change, okay, where we're preserving animals, we're looking more after the nature, we're more collecting into consciousness. I'd probably say people will start avoiding using technology as much as well, and start doing things more with the community, more awakening up. It really is, to say, I can't say, because no timeline is set in stone. Okay,
Right.
we're always working in the present moment, so timelines can change. They
Sure,
can
sure.
change, and it really is with the action of that person. So I say, if I said tomorrow, right, I want to be a lawyer, and I start doing a college course in it, my whole future timeline would change because regarding with the present energy. So
Right.
no timeline is set in stone. If it's going to go into a good way, then we're looking at a different humanity. It's going to take some time to rebuild. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is why we're looking at a much more of a longer period. It's going to take some time to rebuild. I will say that. Okay, but we do know that anyway. But it really depends on the actions of humanity, really, on how that timeline goes forward. Because I said, no timeline is set in stone. It really is down to the action of the present moment.
Okay,
But
so if someone's interested in booking in with you, how does a typical session look? How does it all work? What do you do?
okay, well, first of all, what it is a case, so I don't want any prior information from anyone at all. Okay, so all I do it over the phone, face to face, through Zoom. Okay, so I don't have any prior information. Don't give me any information. Then what I do is, okay, I go into trance. I always let my clients know, okay, they can be very, very heavy. Okay, and anytime they want me to stop, because it can be very, very emotional. Because not are we just doing a trance mediumship reading, we're doing an energy clearing at the same time. So you can get lots of emotions come up, you can get very hot, you can get overwhelmed. And I say, don't hold on to it, release the energy, cry it out, because it's a release of that energy. So it can be very, very intense, it can be very, very deep. Okay, you can go into a lot of deep subjects. Your guys will tell me, they'll tell me everything. Even, okay, with people that are passed over, there can be people that are passed of a traumatic death, which can be quite intense for the person I'm giving a reading for. So I say at any time that we can stop, because obviously I don't want to cause anyone upset. But
Hmm.
it's very intense. So I go into a trance, and therefore your guys will flow through me, okay, and go straight in. I do say you can ask a question, but at the end of the day, your guys will know anyway. So they will bring up anything and everything, and that's how it works. Yeah.
Interesting. And how long are your sessions? Like an hour, are
Oh,
they?
what is it? Well, see, a lot of mediums, okay, they stick to certain times, which I don't agree with. Okay, when spirit want me to stop, they'll want me to stop, because if I did a 30-minute reading, okay, and I stopped at that 30 minutes, and they still more got to say they need to tell you, I'm
Mm.
actually, I'm restricting you from important information that's beneficial for you, for your awakening your consciousness. I'm stopping you from doing that. Therefore, I'm not doing my job. So to me, okay, it doesn't really matter how long it goes on for, because
Mm.
your guys have a message for you that's important for you. So why should I deny you that information? So this is
Nice.
why I don't like why mediums do that, and they just cut them off straight away, like, oh, your 30 minutes is up now, off you go. No, that's not. I came here,
Okay.
I'm an actress, I work for spirit, okay. And if they've got that message for you and you need to hear that, then I'm not stopping, okay, until that message has got through.
Beautiful.
Normally I work from 30 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour, but if it goes over, it's no problem to me, because at the end of the day, I just want you guys to awaken, to become that higher self, to become that best version you can possibly be, to go out there and reach your dreams, to manifest that magical energy, and completely
Beautiful.
love every minute of that conscious being that you are, and see how beautiful you are and part of that creator energy, and how amazing you are.
Lovely. So, do you want to have a quick word about your acting and producing your kids' charity? And then we'll have words of wisdom, then we'll close if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. So of course you've got my psychic work. Okay, so I'm also an actress. Okay, your name is Tiffany Ellen Roberts, is an actor. So I'm in film and television and theatre. I work a lot in film. One film I've got coming up soon, I am playing Janis Joplin with a Lone Dingo production, a film about David Bowie and Mark Bolan. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
coming up. I'll also be playing Mary Pickford in another period drama film, and also playing Janis Joplin in the Janis Joplin film. So I always try to keep busy. So yes, I do a lot of acting, which I love. That's my form of creative, my expression. That's my dream. One thing I will say, guys, is what you love and what you love to do, that's your purpose, that's your higher self purpose. So whatever you're in love with and what makes your heart sing on fire, that's what you've got to do, because that's where you're channeling that creative energy. So yes, I love performing, I love creating. It's that flow of energy. It just sets my heart on fire. It's just what I do, I love. And I can't really talk about the producing side, but as it's kind of in the keeps and quiets now. But yes, I have just started a production company. But at the moment, with my partner that I'm working with, we're currently keeping it under quiet at the moment
No
until we decide to
problem.
go public, which I'm signed by NDA. So I'm only allowed to talk about what I can talk about.
No,
But at
of
this
course, of
time,
course. Let's
I'm
leave
not
it. So
allowed to
you've got
talk.
there's a kids charity that you work with as
Yes,
well.
absolutely. absolutely. Okay, so I do a lot of charitable events. Okay, so what a new project I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working with the Screen Actors Islington, and inspiring the youth to get them into the creative and film industries. Okay, especially in
Nice.
Islington, you know, children, okay, kids that have got on the streets, that are misunderstood, homeless. Okay, you know, really just inspiring them and getting them into creativity, into writing, into poetry, into music. When we create, we are oh
Nice.
we're from the creator, so we've come
Hmm.
here to create. This is it. And when we create, we channel, we have that high vibrational energy, and we get that high.
Amazing.
It's creating that, and just using that creativity and that flow and that abundance and that excitement. So inspiring the youth and people to get into that. Another thing I want to do as well is because I really want to assist, orphans. Okay, this is because I'm an orphan as well. I lost my mother about 4 years ago, my father about 14 years ago. So I really want to help, children and young adults, okay, that have lost their parents. And, with my career and anything, any money that I make, I really want to help do my own organization that I can, open up my own orphanage, and also to help them get into education and to pay for, their food, their toys. At Christmas
Yeah.
time, I like to gather, people that don't want their cuddly toys anymore, and I give them to this local orphanage, okay, for children at Christmas, because I know how hard it is at Christmas, about your family,
Hmm.
and I really want to give something back to them. So that's another
Beautiful.
aspiration I have, and also to, help women that have been through, domestic violence and issues. So, that's what I really want to do with that.
Wow. Amazing. So, how do people get hold of you, please, Alexa?
Oh, how do you get hold of me? Okay, so check out Alexa Spiritual Services, not Alexa like the Amazon, by the way. I was the first Alexa. Can you imagine the jokes I get? They go, Alexa, can you turn some music on? But I know, I was like, oh damn. So yeah, so my website is www.alexaspiritualservices.co.uk. That's ALEXASPIRitualservices. So
It'll all be in
www.alexaspiritualservices.
the description. It's
It'll all be
also
in the
on the
link below.
screen.
You can also find me on Instagram, Alexa Spiritual Services.
Yeah.
But also my website, it gives my phone number and my email address. So what I say is, guys, give me a text or pop me an email. I'm also going to be starting up my own YouTube channel, which is called Beyond the Veil, Behind the Veil. So I'm going to be starting my own YouTube channel, discussing these topics on spiritual awakening, unconscious awakening, and different beings and what soul types we are. And so yeah, it's the weird, wacky, wonderful, well, for us people, because we're the unicorns, basically. We're the cool guys, that's what I like to say. So come join the light, guys. We've got cookies over here. You want to. But yeah, so yeah, I'll be starting my own YouTube channel as well, as a spiritual counselor, spiritual, talk about spiritual topics, okay, and how we can
Hmm.
awaken and inspiration. So it's going to be an open channel for everyone. So yeah, no,
Beautiful.
that's going to come out soon. So yeah, you can find me that way. It's also my number. So yeah, just send me a text or email me, and we
Hmm.
can arrange a reading for you. That's great. And also, if you've got any questions about anything, I'm always there for you. So yeah, so
Fantastic. Any final words of wisdom before we close?
just that I love you all, guys. We're going to do this as humanity. Keep awake, keep light, follow the light, and we shall do this together. For collective consciousness of humanity, as daughters and sons of Gaia, we are united, and always remember where you come from. Source, collective love of humanity.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Alexa,
Oh,
for
thank
joining me
you. Thank
today.
you.
And everybody, please do like and subscribe to my channels. I'm available everywhere at the moment. We're on Spotify and YouTube and Rumble and BitChute. So we're doing it everywhere at the moment.
Course,
So
and also, next time you want to talk about, because I've also had like parallel reality experiences as well. So,
that sounds
as
interesting.
I said, my life has been like the stories that I've got and things I experienced. People are like, "Whoa, you sure you're not making that up?" No, it's
That
like a
sounds really
sci-fi film.
interesting. So if anyone's got any
Yeah,
questions for Alexa, do let me know because we can
yeah,
bring them up
sure,
in the
guys.
next
If you
interview
want
as
me to
well.
pop back on, so I've got so many experiences I'd love to share with you,
Beautiful.
from parallel dimensional realities to time jumps to God. Yeah, like even like parallel dimension traveling. Okay, for the astral realm, there's so much. So if you'd like to have me back on to talk about
Lovely.
this stuff,
Sounds
I'd love
wonderful.
to. Yeah,
Let's do
absolutely.
that. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and bye bye, Alexa.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.